Hi, everyone. I'm David Butler. Welcome to Real Questions. Maybe you've seen another episode of this before. If not, go dig them up. I love this series so much because I love people and I love questions, and I think it's so important for us to ask them. Today, we have got a couple special guests. One of them is a young member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who had a fantastic question. And then we have a couple other surprise guests that you might recognize in a minute that we're going to bring in to help answer Colby's question. So first, I want to introduce you to my new friend, Colby. Hi, Colby.
Hi, Dave.
Your question is seriously so dynamite. I love that this is on your mind and your heart. I already really admire you. That's genuine. I'm not just saying that for Zoom talk. Like, this is real. Let me read the question that you submitted. As a teenager on the brink of adulthood, am I supposed to participate in the church because of a desire or because of a dutiful diligence? Is it a bad thing to participate in the church solely out of duty? Am I supposed to feel or find a desire to participate in every capacity I'm called to serve in? So it seems like you're kind of thinking, man, there are some things that I feel strongly about. Sometimes I feel strongly about them. Sometimes I don't feel like I just should. I want to hear more about that. Like, why is that question kind of on your mind? What's brought it on?
It seems like there's a set plan that we're supposed to follow. That's like mission, BYU. I don't know if that's a Utah thing, marriage and children in that order. It just seems like a wall of expectations that you're supposed to climb. And if you don't quite measure up to that, then like either there's something wrong with you or you're not as strong in your testimony as you should be.
My brother, you are feeling that at 17, 18 years old, whatever, that age. And I want you to know that's something that continues. This is such an important question for you to start wrestling with and think through. And dude, I love the sincerity of where it's coming from. I want to invite in two special surprise guests to help us answer the question, just to have all of us talk about it together. I have Sister Becky Craven, who's the second counselor in the Young Women General Presidency. Hi, Sister Craven.
Hello, Colby.
We also want to bring in Brother Brad Wilcox. He is the second counselor in the Young Men General Presidency. Brad, glad you're here too.
Hi, good to see you, Dave. Where's Colby? Oh, I see him. It's great to be with you.
So Colby and I were just talking. I mean, you saw his question, but we were talking about this, and sometimes he feels like there's just a set plan that you are supposed to follow, a set order within the church. And if you don't follow that, you are failing and there's something wrong with you. And maybe y'all have felt that before or seen it or experienced it. And man, we're here to help Colby out and everybody who kind of has that same question. So Sister Craven, let's start with you. What are all your thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, Colby, I grew up feeling exactly the way you do right now. I have held that same thought. I thought, what if I don't fit the pattern exactly? First of all, it's a really great question and a normal, natural question to ask, especially at this stage of your life when things are, as you said, maybe unknown, a little uncertain. You're going into new territory, and yet there are these expectations. We are all different. And yet Heavenly Father has this plan. He has this great plan for us. And we call it the covenant path because we make covenants along this path. We keep our covenants, and ultimately they bring us back to live with our Father in heaven. But what that looks like for each of us on the path is a little bit different because of our different personalities and our circumstances, even our interests. The one who knows the answer for your plan is Heavenly Father. Heavenly Father knows your plan. And it's kind of a one step at a time.
I like that Sister Craven saying a step at a time. If we're not careful, I mean, imagine a little kindergartner saying, You mean I have to go to first grade and then second grade and then third grade and then fourth grade, clear up to 12th grade? I mean, if a kindergartner's worried about 12th grade, then no wonder it seems overwhelming. Just worry about getting through the day at kindergarten without losing your books and without getting in a fight at recess. Just take it a step at a time.
Yeah, I was thinking about this too, Colby. I think about the things that we have to do. And I think, well, what's the opposite of have to? And sometimes I've asked that to youth, and they'll say, well, it's I get to, but really the opposite is I love to. And sometimes that takes a while to get there. If I were to ask you, Colby, do you love to or have to get up in the morning? Would you give me a thumbs up or thumbs down? Yeah.
Thumbs down,
Okay,
double thumbs down.
Yeah. Do you love to or have to go to a ball game? Yeah, that might be 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Right. But, thinking about some of the things more spiritually, do you have to go to church? Do you have to, or do you love to go to church? There are things that we do because we desire an eternal outcome, with our families and with Heavenly Father. So there are certain things that we just do because we know that they're good for us and we're led along the path.
Colby, what's something you didn't like as a kid that you like now?
Ooh. Mushrooms for some reason.
So when you were a kid, you didn't like mushrooms. Now, if a mushroom shows up on your pizza, you don't freak out. So how did you get from there? How did you get from, like Sister Craven said, to I have to eat mushrooms because they're good for me? How did you get from there to I like them?
Well, I just eat them when they were there because I was grateful, and that's my mom said, eat all your food. If not, you're not going to get to play video games.
Oh, yeah.
And then what Sister Craven said, like, just with time, I guess, like, I grew to love them.
Yeah. I think that's the same way it is in the church sometimes. We do things at first because we feel like we have to, like Sister Craven said, or sometimes in the church, it's just out of social pressure. Like, oh, I better do my ministering because I feel kind of a pressure to do it from others. Or a lot of young men your age feel a pressure to go on a mission. But then when you do it because you have to or because you should, somehow that can grow into loving it. I think what has helped me get from where I didn't like something to now I love it is seeing beyond the activity itself. See, mushrooms, you didn't like them, and now you love them. And maybe a little of that is because you start realizing, hey, there's more variety in food that can be better for me. And there's some things that can be healthy for me. And when you start realizing there's something more to it, it kind of helps you grow through those experiences. Think about Joseph Smith, Colby. Have you ever read the Doctrine and Covenants?
Yes, I have in seminary.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed that you've had the chance to dive into that a little bit. If you read it closely, you find out that sometimes Joseph is called by the Lord my servant. Sometimes he's called my friend. And sometimes he's called my son. And if you think about that, I think even Joseph Smith had to go through that growing stage. He had to start by saying, I'm a servant. I do this because I have to. I don't like it, but God told me to. But then he gets to a point where he's starting to act more like a son. Okay, I know I should do it. It's expected of me. If I don't do it, my mom and dad are going to be disappointed. And then he gets to the point where he acts like a friend. I'm doing this because I love you, Lord. I'm doing this because I love it. And I think just as Joseph grew through those stages, you will too, Colby. You will too.
Now, it sounds like what I thought was really powerful about both of those is, Brother Wilcox, you talk about my servant, my son, and my friend. And what is common in all three of those is my. That even if I'm a servant, I'm doing this as God's servant. I'm doing this as God's son. I'm doing this as a friend to God. And Sister Craven, Colby, I don't know if you caught this, said something really, really similarly, where she was like, look, that path might be different for each person, but what is unique is that it is a relationship with Heavenly Father. That's what's common among all of us, is a relationship with Heavenly Father, no matter what that path may look like. Colby, what are some of your thoughts about what you've heard? Like, what's kind of running through your head, or I have a question to ask her.
One of the things that like has been like listening to all this is how shockingly simple the answer is. And like what Sister Craven was saying, like, like I could throw my perspectives, my experiences, my whole life story at you, but what I'm going to share with you is that Heavenly Father knows what's best for you. And like how Brother Wilcox said, that, that like whether you're a servant, a son, or a friend, that you are like Heavenly Father loves you. And I don't know, I'm kind of taken back because, like my question kind of comes out of like the frustration of like such a complex stage in life and like a complex future that, like I want to have, but the answer is so simple.
And Colby, we've all been there. We've all been right where you are, just like Sister Craven said. So hang in there and just know that you're not alone. We're all in this together, and we help each other as we grow.
Sounds like, from here, the next best thing, I guess, would just be, okay, help me find the why. Heavenly Father, help me like discover like the motivation and the why for this. And then teach me the next step that you want me to take, right? Instead of looking so far in the future, just give me my next one after that. Wow, this has just been, it's been beautiful. I'm a person of many words, and I am speechless also, Colby, by the beautiful simplicity of all of this. It may be simple, and let's not let it be too simple to not do and to not believe, because it is so powerful. Colby, thank you for that question. Thank you, Sister Craven. Thank you, Brother Wilcox. This has been such a great night to spend together. Everyone, we're so glad that you were here joining us. I hope you saw how beautiful of an experience we had because Colby asked a question. This is what happens when we ask questions. We come closer to each other, and we come closer to God by asking them. So keep asking them, and come back next time for another episode of Real Questions. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.